Henry versus Decroft. This is the ultimate kickoff ladders, and this is going to be a good one. This is a good matchup. Wanted to break down this game between two of the better players in Madden 26 and just kind of go through and cover, kind of what they're doing. Both of them play a little bit differently, a little bit similar. And I would say, at this point of this recording, Henry is kind of the clear-cut number one player in Madden 26, which is awesome. Had kind of a wild year in Madden 25, and really excited to see him kind of back in Madden 26, I think, fully. And he actually did end up being the number one seed going into the Madden 26 Ultimate Kickoff tournament. So I'm breaking down some of the things that we're learning from Henry in this video as well. Decroft, top tier player as well, very good player, and going to be breaking down some of the things that he's doing as well. Now, if you guys want to check out either one of these guys, I'll leave a link to their websites, to their Twitches, their stuff, all in the description down below. And one of the things that has made Henry so good, I think, in the beginning of the year, he's really the guy that has kind of, not necessarily like found double mug, but he's kind of optimized it, and he's doing some really cool stuff on defense. It kind of starts right here. I'm going to go through just the core of what he's really doing here. And what you're going to see is that he is going to spread his D line, and he's going to spread his linebackers. Now, this is how you kind of set up the standard Texas four-man stunt, but he's also got this right here where he's bringing his user, he's putting his user right over the center, and he's going to situationally, he will actually send a send for pressure where he's going to send this linebacker and he's going to engage with the center, and then he's going to jump into coverage. This is a great way for him to get pressure if Decroft sends his running back out on a route. So this is going to force Decroft to have to be mindful of that, and Decroft will probably block his running back a little bit more. In this game, edge pressure by itself, just not that great because of how kind of the tight end really blocks a lot of the edge blitzes without even having a block. He just chips everybody. And so really the best way you're seeing pressure created in this game is through the A-gap with the linebacker blitzing from depth, or he is going to have this Texas four-man stunt. Those are kind of the two main methods by which Henry is going to be getting pressure. Decroft, in his infamous U-Trips offense, I believe he is in the Chargers offensive playbook. And in my opinion, Chargers is going to be a top 5 offense literally all year long. And you're going to see, how Decroft runs it. So you see how Henry just pulled up his substitution menu. He is going to then be able to engage with this center. So you'll see here, he's probably going to set up that send 5 pressure right here. It's technically a send 4. So as you see, he drops his D into coverage. He has a contain here, and then he has these guys blitzing. And he's going to engage with the center, and then he is going to peel into coverage off of the center. So you see there, he engages, peels off into coverage. Decroft hits him with a nice pop pass there to the tight end. He's actually able to pop this pressure for a big play. And he's able to get out of there with Brock Bowers and end up probably taking that to the crib. Henry already watching the film back, taking a look at what Decroft did. So Decroft gets a quick 7 on his first drive. And like I said, I think Decroft is in the Chargers playbook. Now, Decroft is going to be running, I believe, the single mug defense. And Henry is going to be in the Jaguars, kind of primarily basing out of this Bunts X Nasty. And then also he's going to go to Y-off trio close quite a bit. I feel like he runs the most Y-off trio close that I've seen so far. So anyways, we'll see kind of how all this is going to shape up. But as you see here, Decroft is going to be in the single mug. So what's really interesting to me about single mug versus double mug, like single mug, basically the main difference is this guy is right here. There's a couple other subtle differences, but really Decroft is able to do the same thing. If he wants to, he could send, this guy here and zone out, or the main pressure you're going to see Decroft do is it's going to be that Texas four-man stunt quite a bit. So you see here, Henry already going to the Y-off trio close, has a slot fade over there on the right side. That slot fade actually just popped that cover too. Let's take a look, see if he shows just a tight end streak and a slot fade, and that just popped it. That's crazy. Normally, you don't see that slot fade pop cover 2 to the wide side as good as it did right there. So I don't know if Decroft maybe put him in a quarter or what he did there. But anyway, oh no, Decroft fumble. That's actually very fortunate for Decroft. He gets a strip fumble after Henry dotted him for 30 yards. 3-3 double mug again for Henry. He's pretty much been in double mug all year, really. I think he was in 6-1 for like the first day or two, and then he pretty much quickly. So notice when he sends the Texas 4-man stunt, he's still giving this look, but with his user, he's just going to back him out at the snap of the ball. So it does make the Texas 4-man stunt a little worse. Actually, that time he randomly engaged. That's crazy. It does make the Texas 4-man stunt a little bit worse, but obviously having that threat of a consistent send 5 is very, very helpful to be able to kind of force your opponent into some pass protection scenarios. Here, Henry going to go with a little bit of man coverage. Does look like he is going to send the pressure. Good run from Decroft. He's able to get out of there. Doing a little air trucking with say quads. And Henry is also in the Vikings defensive playbook. So whereas Decroft, I believe, is in Texans, he's running the regular single mug. Henry is running the 3-3 double mug. So even though they're similar defenses, they are slightly different. Here you're going to see he's going to send that pressure. No blocked running back. Was able to pick it up, but not able to really get any yardage. And that's going to bring up a 2nd and 10. Henry does send that pressure quite a bit. I think he's sent it like 3 or 4 times so far this game. I'm also really interested in the engage. Like, is it worth... The way that I run this defense is I like to use the nickel corner, but I'm sure there's probably some adjustments that you can't really do if you're not using that little linebacker right there. Why off trips close for Decroft again, just kind of working his way up and down the field. And then the other thing is Decroft will audible here. This is bunch. Is that bunch strong offset? I think it was. It goes with a duo run there. The one thing I don't like about Chargers, and this is where, I mean, it's just a preference thing. It takes so long to audible from Y off trips close to bunch. Like, look how long this is. Look how long of an audible that is. Because they have to flip those receivers. Here comes Texas 4-man from Henry. A little man beater there from Decroft with that little left side flat. We'll see what Henry's up to on defensively here. Another big thing here. It's a big possession for Henry, trying to get a red zone stop. Trying to get a stop down in this area of the field. It's really your best chance of a stop because there's a limited amount of space. That back of the end zone there is going to make it so that it is definitely a little bit of a limited amount of space. He's going to go with a cover 2 on the left side, cover 3 on the right side. Going to man up the back. Curious as to why he likes to man up the running back. There he just gets pressure. Look at this. And this is the other thing Henry will do. So you see here, Decroft is having to set up different types of pass protection for the Texas 4-man stunt and that A-gap pressure. Now, this time, Henry does kind of tell you that he's used run this way, but regardless, you'll see here that Decroft does some kind of protection. I don't know exactly what it is he did, but having to set up for protection for one blitz leaves him susceptible to just a basic send 4 rush and gets pretty much instantaneously pressured. This is why having every defense you run in Madden needs to have some sort of pressure concept behind it, where they're going to have to adjust their pressure, their pass pro. They're going to have to slide. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to double team somebody, right? Something. So you see here, now Henry goes back to the stunt because he's like, well, Decroft might not do that same protection this time. He might do a different protection and that protection might be susceptible to the stunt. So this is actually a very good kind of back and forth chess match from the protection game. The only problem here is this outside third did not get outside fast enough. And you'll see here on that right side, I think that was a slot fade. That's actually a great route from Decroft. That slot fade kind of gets in a nice spot against that cover 2. And this third is it's stuck in the middle, not able to get out there. And T. Higgins is able to catch it here. Henry's already taking a look, trying to see what route that was. And it was that slot fade. Cloudfly didn't get a reroute on him, partially because I think Henry did switch on to him, but is what it is. And now Henry finds himself down 2 possessions, and really it's primarily because of a fumble. So we'll see what he's able to do on the offensive side of the ball on this possession. Now, as I said before, I'll leave links to these guys' stuff down in the description. If you want any of my stuff, it's in our school community. $10 gets you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks. So if you want to sign up for that, that link is going to be down below. Here he's going to go with a little smash return combo. Love this play. And he actually uses a speed out. This is one of my, I love route combinations like this. Like these are some of my favorite routes. He's got a flat and a return route. He's got a drag, and then he uses a speed out instead of a streak. The reason being is because this post will pull this outside third back just enough, and it leaves this little window right here. So what really practically Henry's doing is he's creating a high-low read over here between the out route and the drag, and then he's got a high-low read in the middle of the field between the post and the return route. And then this flat will pull any flat and it'll leave this return route open in this little area. So this is just a very, very good route combination, good spacing with this. So you see right here, this guy is getting pulled by that guy right there, and he's going to have everything. He's going to have the tight end. He's going to have the out route, right? He's going to have everything he wants, able to just take that. I would say those are some of my favorite route combinations because they're just consistent. I love the just consistent high-low reads. I think it keeps your offense on schedule. The whole idea of, really just calling good plays consistently and making good reads consistently. I feel like that is what's going to really help offensively, is having plays that have multiple answers regardless of the defense that you're facing. Now, right here, Henry actually, this, I don't know, fortunate might not be the right word, but he has a slot fade and he has a streak. Now, why would he use a slot fade and why would he use a streak? Number one, if Decroft runs cover 2, he might have that slot fade. But really, the meta coverage, right, that pretty much most people want to be in is, cover 4 or cover 2ing like a side, right? So by having these two streaks, Decroft can't really switch on to these quarters to lurk this in route right here. So you'll see here at the snap of the ball, right, he has that kind of cover 3. And here Henry is basically just created, again, a high-low in the middle of the field. And so his read here is on this guy right here. So you see he's reading. And Decroft does a good job of biting down. And honestly, pressure in his face, the user's right there. That's the open receiver. And Decroft just overruns the route. Just slightly overruns the route, and Henry's able to just take his read. Very, kind of a tight throw there. But again, the whole idea is with passing, especially when the switch stick era, you need to have good clear out concepts, right? How are you going to be pushing the defense back to open up your receiving targets? And then the other one is you need to be having high-low reads where you're high-lowing defenders in space. Here, Decroft is also, and this is the thing that I like about watching Decroft play defensively. That's why I was excited when I saw that these two guys played. Look at this pressure right here that Decroft is going to get. Now, Henry's pass protection, real quick, is one of the reasons why I think he runs so much wild trio close. He calls motion PA cross switch, and he basically freestyles out of that play. So you see here he's half sliding to the right, but I mean, this Texas 4-man is screaming at him early on in this game. And I know that Decroft runs that Texas 4-man quite a bit. So that Texas 4-man stunt, obviously a defense that, really just like the best pressure in the game. I feel like, the loop blitzes are cool, but the loop blitzes kind of take some time to come in. The beauty of the Texas 4-man is if that blitz is coming free, it's coming in clean, and it's literally like DT gapping you. So, and there, another rollout, another throwaway. Like Decroft playing pretty good defense for the first couple of possessions, especially, again, this is why having a pressure, right? The pressure is so critical because the pressure doesn't allow Henry's routes to get open. Even if he makes the right read, the pressure is going to not allow him to throw it. So, anywho, it's also why on offense, pass protection is so vital here. And this is why, again, the importance of good clear out routes. Notice what Henry does here on this route combo. He's got a crosser, and then he's got this kind of drag Texas. Notice right here, Decroft gets really aggressive with the switch stick. He switch sticks here, and Henry immediately takes that wide open throw. right? And if you really look at this, Decroft's original intention is he's going to switch stick on the safety and then he's going to switch stick on the corner. So watch, switches here, and then his immediate thing is I'm going to switch here and overtake it. But this is also why you just got to call your plays with good spacing, because Henry calls this with this to the wide side of the field. This quarter is over here. He can't possibly recover. And you see, even though he did get him, but he's 5-10 yards away from the receiver, and Henry's got a free touchdown off that. So also notice that, Henry's still using Baker Mayfield. A lot of people moved on to different quarterbacks, but Baker Mayfield's release, hot routes, combination of all that is really what he wants there. So, all right. So I believe that Henry does. I'm trying to remember. I think Henry gets bought half. So realistically, probably one more possession for each of the guys here. And he is going to be in that double A. Bases out of mid blitz a lot. Here he's going to send. See, and this is the thing. You see Henry really does a good job of just mixing up his blitzes. Like here, kind of showing a send 6, but he might send 4. A lot of different pressures from Henry kind of trying to attack that. And there, Decroft goes to a cheap motion cross post. It's kind of his standard man-beating play. And you see this guy, Henry gets switched over here. I don't know if he meant to do that or what. Gets out of position. That streak is wide open. Decroft with a good rat catch. And he is going to get another quick hit touchdown. I don't know what happened there. Let's see what Henry takes a look at here with this. I think he was trying to switch stick onto the guy on the running back, maybe. But just kind of a crazy, crazy play. Yeah, I think maybe he was just, I don't know. Maybe he thought the deep half would get out there a little bit more. It's crazy that the deep half didn't get out there more than he did, honestly. I feel like Henry might be shaded. Maybe he shaded. I wonder if you shade inside, if that affects that deep half on that play. I'm not 100% sure. That deep half did not deep half. Honestly, that deep half definitely did not deep half on that play. All right, so another possession here for Henry. We'll see what he's able to do. He's going to go to wild trio close. And there's that combo again. He's got that out route on the right side, the drag return. This is one of his main plays. And again, it's good because you'll see here on the left side, user's got to go there. He's got the high low over here. It's hard to cover the whole field. I love horizontal strains like that. I think that's just such a good way to play the game. Again, these are just consistent, dots, getting the ball down, getting the ball in good space to attack the defense, not allowing, the biggest thing that you can do, in my opinion, to counter switch stick is to consistently have good route combos on the field. But man, I'll tell you, Henry is uncomfortable in this pressure. That's probably like the 5th throwaway I've seen off of getting pressured from that single mug. And, Decroft really hasn't had to send more than 4. He sent 4, the majority of this game, and he has been having success. The other thing is, let's take a look here at Decroft's defense a little closer. You see, send 4, using the guy right over the center. And I think he's always got the potential to send 5. There he gets a really nice KO on Henry, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. I think Henry kind of thought that was a guaranteed first there, but KO or just a catch tackle was able to KO it. And again, it's motion PA cross switch. 90% of the plays. That's kind of what I've seen from Henry over the weekend. I mean, he's in this motion PA cross switch from Y off trio close the majority of his play calls. And he's basically just creating combos out of it. He basically calls play action the majority of the game. If you really look at it, his doubles flex close play is this play action play. There's the drag, tight throw, in coverage. And again, look at this pressure from nickel single mug. This is just the stock 4-man rush. Decroft kind of mixes that in. He gets the pressure at the perfect time. And right here, I mean, this guy is open, but he gets the possession catch it because he's throwing it in between 2 defenders. And he gets a catch and a fall down. And that is going to bring up, or that is a turnover on downs. Again, just kind of got a bad animation. Again, that's a really bad possession catch. Unfortunate. So some things definitely aren't just going Henry's way at all. But the other thing with this is, Decroft's defense is getting some good pressure, and it's putting Henry having to make tough reads. Again, all you can do, especially against like some of the best players in the world, man, all you can do is make them have to have make them. I love and hate the phrase at the same time. Make them work. Make them have to work, and having to work is having to make good reads with good pressure on you and having good coverage adjustments behind it that are not going to give up the big play, but rather force you, to have to make those reads under pressure. Here, Henry kind of goes off sides, like he came out in the wrong defense. And I think Decroft, I think he declined that. All right, Waff trips close. Ball on about the 13. Henry's kind of in a tough spot now. I mean, it's 21-7. Decroft has pretty much dominated this first half. Everything's been going his way. And good user. And that time, Henry got great pressure. Even though edge pressure isn't like amazing in this game, sending 5, sending 6, even sending 7, those kind of blitzing concepts this year, really you're not seeing those, especially at the highest level. But what you are seeing is a send 4 that's getting really consistent good sheds and putting those, right there, you got a great shed on the right side. That combination really, and I think the best way to play is really just mixing between a send 4 base rush, a send 5 A gap, which is what Henry does out of double mug. Decroft pretty much does the same thing out of a single mug. And then the Texas 4-man stunt. The combination of those several different ways of pressuring in this game, I think, is the best way to get pressure. And it is hard because you can't just like block it one way. You have to block this blitz one way and then this other pressure the other way. And then, they could just run a base rush and that might mess up all your protection because you've overcompensated for different spots. So, I think a good pressure plan is a plan, especially in this year's game. It is a plan that, really pressures from multiple different angles and spots. I think more and more you're seeing that consistently. All right, so here we got 2 hard flats, 2 curl flats, 2 yellows from Henry. Here we have a cross man of the tight end for that trips play. But that slot wide receiver is wide open. Little auto motion from Decroft. Or not auto motion, just a motion. And I actually love that play. It's actually a really nice play. Let's take a look at the combo. So this is a really nice red zone combo. Obviously, red zone is one of the most important areas in the field to score. What you have here is you have a return route. You have kind of a table. And then you have that tight end drag. And you have that flat right there. And then the other thing you have here, and this is what Decroft does I think is really smart, is you have this kind of back of the end zone in route that he's stemmed up to the back of the end zone, runs across. And, right there, that's, that's a pretty good read right there from Decroft. I don't know what happened, why they ruled that out of bounds, but I guess just didn't get his feet in. Here, Henry taking a look at the combo. Again, look at that return route. That return route ran really fast. Wonder if that's a stock zig. I don't know what that. Wonder if he just put a return route or what. All right, so 24-7 Decroft sub 17. 4 minutes and 29 seconds left in the second quarter. A lot has happened in this game. A lot has happened. Somehow Henry finds himself down 17. And really, has he really played that bad? Couple just tight throws, a fumble, and here we are. There's that return route. Ooh, a little curl flat. Most underrated route combo in this game right here. Watch what he runs. This is a great, look at this play. You got a curl that's about 10 yards. You got a flat or a wheel. Then you've got a little high-low in the middle of the field. Love this combo. A little running back swing route to the right. When's the last time you saw that route on the field? And he just takes this curl flat. Henry's route combos are really interesting this year. I don't know if I've ever seen him have route combos like this where they're like, I don't know. They're like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, they're just like horizontal stretches every sides of it. It's a lot different than what a lot of people do. He has a ton of like return and flat combos. So here, and again, these are all freestyle. These are I mean, he's literally just creating these route combos on the fly. So good read there to the return route. See what he's able to do here on a first down and 10 from about 45-yard line. Again, Decroft taking a minute to pick his play. And yeah, still in single mug. Motion PA switch. Look at that crazy pass rush he's getting on that right side. All right, so 2nd and 5. Got a little crosser Texas route. Running back open in the middle. A lot of Henry's reads, too, are high-lows in the middle of the field, really more so. And he ends up hitting one right there. So this is kind of a must-get 7, kind of. If he didn't get ball at half, this is definitely a must-get 7. But 17 to 24 would be a completely different ball game if he times this right. One of the other things is Henry goes a little high-low over the middle, running back flat to the left. Kind of something you have to start thinking now is like, do you try to clock this out? Decraft only has one timeout. These end-of-half scenarios are so vital because it's a way that Henry can get kind of an extra stop on Decroft because he does get that ball at halftime. Stemmed up curl. A little speed out on the right. It's got a stemmed up curl and a drag underneath of it. Love these stemmed up curls, I guess, man. These people love them. Henry pops it right over Decroft's user on field. I don't think that was a high point. He just pops it. And now we got a red zone scenario for Henry. He loves this strip side in, and he's subbing in Jalen Hurts to run the ball. He is going to be running quarterback zone. He is going to be trying to air truck his way to a touchdown. We'll see what he's able to do. Decroft spreads everybody out. Actually able to block him or tackle him. Don't know what happened to the right guard there, but he decided he just wasn't very interesting blocking. So, yeah, Decroft's big strategy is to basically pull the linebackers out. I don't think Decroft is in single mug. If you look, he's in double mug. I think he's definitely in mid blitz, and he's just going to spread his linebackers, let those linebackers kind of shoot down. And it's doing a really good job of stopping that quarterback run. So now you got a 3rd down and goal situation. Kind of, again, a must-get 7, or at least it's very important that Henry scores. Really, 9 kind of have to get 7 because he knows he's going to be giving Decroft the ball back. So this is pretty much 4-down territory. He's not going to get in. And here we go, 4th and goal. Ball on the 2-yard line. It's a got to have it down. This is going to be one of Henry's best red zone setups. And we're going to take a look here, see what he's got. So you see here, this is one of his best combos. This is a return route, a drag. On his left side, he's got a cross flat to the running back. And this little cross flat is like it's built into the play. And then he stems up this out route to kind of wrap this back corner. And then he's got a return route right here. Double return routes is kind of a interesting combo. Knows he has to block that Texas 4-man, so now he's going to definitely double team this guy on the left. Decroft goes with a base rush. There's that out route right there, and you see there's that return route. Got to throw it. Henry just forces it to him, back corner. And a huge possession catch in the back corner of the end zone. It's a big time hit. And now we'll see what Decroft's able to do. Why off trips close? Minute 45. And we will see what he's able to do. Henry's going to do a little Texas 2-man stunt, I believe, and he's going to have a contain. He's not going to actually contain, but essentially that is so that he, oh my gosh, look at that blitz. I wonder why that came in so well. So again, he's just Texas left man stunning, but he's not containing over here. He's just base rush, and this thing just screams. Again, that's the power of having a blitz where they have to do stuff, because when you start messing with that offensive line, a lot of times things like that happen where you just, randomly scream through a gap, and right there, Henry certainly does. Now Henry's going to send 5 here off this left side. Now he's just going to send the 4, and he's again kind of doing that thing on the right side now. Decroft kind of picks it up more of a base protection. Great in route from Decroft there. Don't see that a lot. And that stemmed up in route got him a ton of yardage. Decroft looking to try to probably get into field goal range. I mean, he's probably thinking 7, honestly, because of the clock. There's that engage blitz. And it's going to bring up a 2nd and 3. Pretty much standard that you're seeing the safeties on close and pinch most defenses so far. And does look like he's going to send 5 off of this side here. Let's see. He's going to send that engage. No, he's bluffing it. There's that auto motion. He's got that manned up. He's got the 3rd there. And a good flat read. Good read by Decroft, noticing there was no flat. Or at least the flat was too far inside to be able to get out there. Also, Henry got it on a cover 2 shell so that he can kind of come out in whatever, but it always looks like that cover 2. And then he can kind of adapt from there. He's going to go cover 3 cloud again. This is his, what appears to be his bunch X nasty defenses, these man ups. And that right there is very, okay, so this is the idea. With this bunch X nasty, one of the routes that Decroft has is this really good stem down corner. It's really good against a lot of things. The thing it's not very good against is a hard flat from this cornerback. And Henry knows that, so he has that hard flat there. And he throws it anyway, and the hard flat does not pick it off. Shout out to No Eyes, No Picks, even though that's not Madden, but it kind of is. All right, white off trips close for Decroft. Again, audibling. This is back into bunch X nasty. Nope, bunch strong offset. Going to go to dagger. And Henry's going to catch him. So you see here, he sends 5, or sends that, not 5, but sends that gap pressure. He gets off of this guy with his user. Now, the way that he's able to do that, I think, is by hitting the X button. But he disengages his user from the block. He's running straight back. And honestly, Decroft just kind of throws him one, right? Running back, right? But, yeah, Decroft just messes. I don't know. I mean, on a 2nd down, you know, probably just didn't think Henry was going to be able to get back. And he knows that post beats man. Tough read. Henry able to get a stop. And now all of a sudden, you know, Henry got the stop. He's down by 10, but he's got ball. If he goes down and gets points, you know, we could be looking at a very easily a tie game by the next time Decroft touches the ball, or even Henry leading. So it goes back to that horizontal combination, hits that drag route underneath, good little low read on that high-low on the flat on the right. And now we've got a 2nd and 4. Again, 52 seconds, but Henry does have all 3 of his timeouts. So he's really able to use the entire field to be able to put himself in a scoring position. Again, just notice, I mean, he goes to this motion PA play majority of the game. There's that tight end post. Able to break a tackle. He's trying to get out of bounds with the air truck. I think he was actually able to, but I think he just barely missed getting out of bounds there. But that's the power of that air truck with that speed burst that it gives you. And kind of really been the best move all year. Got the streak, but not going to throw it. Another pressure for Decroft. And I'll tell you, man, Decroft's pressure it pressures. It's not flashy. You know, it's really a send 4, but man, does it pressure. You know, there's just rarely a ton of time. You know, it's not necessarily instant, but it gets off the block quick. And Henry, you know, you're putting Henry on a timer consistently. He's not able to get to that 2nd level a lot of times in his progression. So it's a very good defense that Decroft is running. You just got to put the adjustments behind it to get one more stop probably. So we'll see what he's able to do. Motion P across, the drag, the Texas. There's that crosser coming back across the field. This time Henry is able to get out of bounds. And he's got 2 timeouts, but about 25-yard line. Got to be thinking 7 here if you're Henry. Trying to hold to 3 if you're Decroft, or get a turnover. But rarely does Henry make those kind of mistakes in these situations. And he's gonna just, I don't know how that was that open. This is a you know what I bet? I bet Decroft is the or I bet Henry's the home team. And when you're on the small placement, you can really like pass lead these streaks. And this is just like, gosh, just a great pass lead. Just a great pass lead on a cover zero, able to pop him. And now Decroft's got 20 seconds, but doesn't have any timeouts. So all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, the game really flipped. Henry able to kind of fight and claw his way back into the ball game. And he does get ball coming out half, a lot of momentum, a lot of things going his way. This situation, end of half scenario, Henry is going to jump into 146 crossfire. He's got a kind of standard shell really out there if you look at it, but he does have the contains. Those contains should keep the quarterback in the middle and kind of force you to have to, play. Loves that man up on that motion cross post. Good defense from Henry. Not really going to be any time here. Decroft's just going to run it one more time, and that is going to be the half. So going in the second half, all the momentum really on Henry's side. He does have the ball as well. Decroft going to have to kind of step up, see what he's able to do. But a lot of football left to be played. We'll see what Henry's going to do. He's going to go back. Little flat zig combo, takes that tight end whip route. I feel like tight end zigs are really powerful, and I don't see a ton of people like they're still running flat zig, but the flat with the tight end on the tight end zig beats man a little better than the receiver zig does. So anyway, good read by Henry. And again, Henry's not even calling a lot of plays. He's just calling good plays, and he's making good reads with those plays, as you'll see here. All right, here's that crosser Texas play, hits that streak up the skinny. This is a specific route combo here. As you'll see, this outside third kind of fans out because of this out route, and then this streak is going to pop this cover three cloud, and you'll see right in this little crease, he's able to hit that streak. Really just a great time throw, and he's able to get 7. And now, Henry, a game where Henry was down 17, he's now winning by 4. Kind of wild. So now, again, a ton of momentum on Henry's side. Decroft coming out in that Y off trips close. We'll see. He's going to need it. It's kind of a big drive for Decroft, right? A lot of momentum just shifted to Henry's side. Decroft's got to kind of answer back. This is definitely an answer back drive. And, Decroft kind of needs to. There's that stemmed up in route. Again, I think that's like a 15, 20 yard in route that he's basically creating. And it just gets into a really unique spot. You see right there on that side. Very, very good in route. Red zone situation for Decroft here. 1st and 10. Going to audible a bunch. Strong offset. It's going to take about 20 minutes for it to actually audible to it. It's going to go to dagger again. And this time, it's dagger post route. Really weird, kind of nasty post route, but it gets open. And he does hit it. That's a weird play, but it worked. And Henry, now Decroft back up 3. And now they're kind of going back and forth. And we'll see what Henry's able to do to answer on this drive. But a huge answer back drive for Decroft, able to get 7 and kind of what he needed to do. Now, again, this is the wild trips close. Motion be across switch, tight and flat zig. There's that's a great read from Henry, honestly. The switch stick off to go to guard the zig, and then Henry able to kind of pop that crosser. I think Henry's honestly at his best when he plays like this, where he is, basically running about 5 to 7 plays or 5 to 7 core combos, and he's really doing it all out of pretty much the same play. He's also 5 outing pretty much every time off this play action. There he gets screamed at. Huge sack. He was throwing the running back, but good pressure from Decroft. I have to say, Decroft has also consistently gotten pretty good pressure sheds, right, this game. And I don't know, again, I just, Henry really likes to block this with play action. But I feel like, the weakness of play action, sometimes they shed a little quicker on play action plays, but I don't know, right? But how he's doing it is he's calling that, the whole reason he's calling that motion cross switch is because it's a play action play. He has an auto motion off of that he can stem up into an auto motion wheel. He can also stem that auto motion all the way down and turn it into a smaller in route, like a return route almost. There's that running back. It's just kind of late on that read right there to the running back. Second down and 10, ball on the 47. See what Henry ends up cooking up here. Decroft taking an eternity to change his zone drops. Just getting those zone drops set. There it is. Motion PA cross switch. Now he's got a little flood combo here to the right. It's got stemming up that tight end corner one. Kind of an interesting, and it's open. But there it is again. Again, this is why it's so look. Watch the pressure that Decroft is able to get here. Right, he gets just enough pressure. He's getting a shed here, and right as we're attacking the second level throw, it's wide open, but pressure gets in, and instead of a 1st and 10 inside the 20, it's now a 3rd down and 10 over here. All right, so kind of a big down here for Henry, 3rd down and 10. Probably going to be motion PA cross switch. No, he's in bunch X nasty. Going to be motion cross post for Henry. Kind of a rarity that you see him go to play at this. Now he's going to check, check, check. He likes to double team if he's not in play action. He's got that cross flat to the running back. Might have been why he wanted to call that play. I just don't. See, this is like this would be my definition of a bad combo. I mean, I don't love this combo. Like, I get why you do it, but like right here, like you've got a post route running. You've got this post route running right into this section, and then you have a stemmed up curl. Now, again, you would assume, right, the reason why is he's anticipating a switch stick onto that player and then, getting it that way. But, in general, is what it is. Good, bad combo, indifferent combo. Obviously, a combo called by the #1 player in the world right now. So I just think, gosh, I just hate where that curl's at. And I just feel like it didn't give him a lot of options. And the result is a pick, right? I mean, good defense. But, I mean, look at that. And I guess that's what he was wanting, right? This quarter falls off of it. But you see how Decroft's able to use the post and the curl with one player? That, to me, is the issue. But it is what it is. It's a pick for Decroft. And that's the, I think, second or third. That's the second real stop Decroft got. And then the third one was, I think, the fumble. But Decroft has stopped Henry twice this game. But yeah. See what Decroft's able to do offensively. Henry going to be running. I don't know what this little Texas 4-man. Got that third. That third gets out really slow. It's a great route to the running back there. That's just that running back streak, man. I mean, you see this a lot. This combo right here. It's just a post, a streak, a running back wheel, or a running back streak. And this just gets in such a tight window spot that you're able to throw if you don't man up the running back. Good read from Decroft. And, again, they're just kind of going back and forth, right? Decroft had control of the game early. Then Henry kind of snagged back control of the game in the middle. And now Decroft really in complete control of the game right here. And like I said, I thought this was one of the best games of the ladders. It's why I wanted to break this one down. There's just a lot of back and forth, good and, good moments, bad moments, right? A lot of stuff happened in this game. Kind of just a basic cover two. Henry is putting his hooks on 5 so that they will play those drag routes, play underneath a little better. Obviously a little susceptible to some of the more intermediate routes, kind of trusting his pressure to be able to get home. And Decroft burns the second half timeout. I don't love that. Don't love that. Now Henry kind of changed up the defense. Going to send that A-gap pressure. There's that quick pressure. That's exactly where Decroft hit him before. He hits him again with this route that he had hit him with before when he got that touchdown on, I think, one of the first plays of the game. Comes back, hits him with that post again, and that sets him up for a red zone possession. Decroft going to audible down into the goal line. Got Saquon Barkley in the backfield, going to go quarterback sneak, able to get it, and that's going to be a 38-28 Decroft. Henry is going to need this. Is like you got to get a touchdown, pretty much. I feel like I don't have to, but like you really got to answer here, obviously, because time is getting short, and Decroft is not going to continue to leave the door open. So there's that running back streak again. Tight end post, good switch stick. That was very close to being intercepted right there. And again, this is why a lot of people have gone away from this concept, but a lot of people are going back to it, this post. But man, the problem with this tight end post, in my opinion, is look at where he's at on the field. Like it's too deep. And I almost feel like if he stemmed it down one, it would be a little better. But, Henry kind of anticipating that Decroft wasn't going to switch. Decroft switches and snaps down. This is a touchdown, but Decroft times it really, really well. And almost an interception. Almost really a GG, right? Very, very fortunate for Henry that it wasn't intercepted, but great defensive play by Decroft. And that's going to bring us up for a 2nd and 10. There's that stemmed up corner. Again, Henry stemming that tight end corner up one, makes it run a little bit deeper, kind of gets a little more of a bend on it, I think, against man coverage. And all the while, I mean, Henry has passed for 410 yards. He threw one interception. But other than that, he's been pretty decent offensively. It's just a matter of like he got a bad possession catch animation, and then he got the fumble. But here you see there's motion PA. Loves this play, man. This right here is a very much so a favorite. It's an out, it's a crosser, it's a drag and a Texas, and it just high lows everything in this middle. And you see here, look at how the user has to peel here, and then this little throwing lane right in that little pocket for that running back consistently. One of Henry's favorite plays, and one of his highest consistency plays, right, so far this game. All right, so back to that wild trio close motion P across switch. Here's that return route. There's that return route speed out combination on the right side. That speed out kind of got caught up, but able to kind of complete the route and able to keep the chains moving. There's that crosser. This time it's a flat zig instead of a Texas drag. Good switch kick by Decroft. Perfect throw, though, by Henry. Able to kind of pop it right before that switch. Was able to take it away. Another thing, man, a lot of things that matter in this. This is why it's important, I think, to, kind of really master the timing. If you are a second late or something, that's where switch kick really can hit you. But if you're on time every time, I feel like you're able to throw it even if they do switch kick because you're on time with the route. Whereas a switch kick can normally be a little bit delayed. And there he got a bad pass lead, and that's where that small pass lead really hurts him. You see here, but again, I mean, look at this. Look at this read, or look at this route combo. This is what he hit him with before. But this is maybe something specific to Y off trail close, but this slot fade and this streak, it pops cover two. It definitely does. This safety is not. I think that might even be an outside third, but he is not getting there. See how he kind of turns hips backward in? It's really interesting. But Henry not able to get a good pass on the ball. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 10. We are closing in on the 4th quarter as well. And just checks down to the running back over there on that side, and somehow crazy able to get a touchdown with that running back on that route. All right, so 35-38. Decroft is still winning, so Henry does need to stop. He's going to change defenses here. It's actually going to jump into 1-4-6. Now, kind of interesting because we've seen really Henry be in double mug. And kind of in a gotta have it, get a stop situation. He goes to 1-4-6. Trying to switch stick around a little bit. Good comeback route there from Decroft. Able to just take that simple high-low read consistently, able to attack the defense. And, good read from Decroft. Going to go to bunch strong offset. This is probably going to be a run right here. There's some bunch adjustments. Notice how Henry's just staying in the middle of the field with his user, kind of looking for that route to switch on to. Biggest thing is I think Henry has really improved his switch stick. If you look at Henry from Madden 25 to Madden 26, He's really changed how he plays defense, kind of probably really adapted a little bit more fully to the switch stick era, which I think is possibly one of the biggest reasons for the success he's had, not only in this Madden, but towards the end of last year. He was really good. He lost an LCQ, I believe, to Drini, who I think that was a Final Four matchup, and then Drini went on to lose to Drip, SEO Drip in a tight battle. But Henry was right there for Madden Bowl. And I think the game before that, Henry actually beat Kobo in the Elite Eight of that tournament. So both those guys were really, still right there last year, just weren't able to kind of get over the hump. So Decroft kind of satisfied with going to the run here. This is where it kind of gets interesting. Decroft probably can't clock the rest of this game out. Henry has the timeouts. There's 3:25 left. I mean, it'd have to be like, the stars would have to be aligned. You'd really have to be perfect. So I think he's, the other situation here is what happens if Decroft can only kick a field goal? What if he doesn't get 7 here, right? Henry would be in position to go down and get 7 and win the game. So this is kind of an interesting deal. And that right there, that little tackle right there, we get caught up. Very, very fortunate for Decroft because now you have a second inches so you can run the ball again. Whereas if he fell forward for the first down, now it's kind of back to what I was saying where it's kind of getting more difficult to clock this out. But Decroft is 100% trying to clock this out. This is 99.9% going to be a run here to me to try to get this to the 2-minute warning. We'll see what he ends up doing here. But Henry does have 4 clock stoppages and that run right there. Now, why? Here's an interesting thing, kind of game management scenario, right? Like, why not fall down like right here? You could make an argument for that, but I think Decroft thinks he's going to score. Like, I think he's thinking, I'm going to be able to pop this. And he almost does, right? See how he kind of pivoted to the right? This guy makes honestly a game-saving tackle. And now you're in a really interesting spot. Now you're almost in a great spot for Henry because now you're first to go from the 4 and you still have the 2-minute warning. So Decroft going to take this down to the 2-minute warning. So now Henry will be able to stop the clock every single time if Decroft runs all 4 times or 3 times. And then he's going to be able to get a ball, go down, potentially score 7 and win the game if Decroft doesn't score 7 here. So this is a big time situational kind of thing. What do you do? Probably run the ball here, but it's a real tight spot. And right there, he almost gets a touchdown, but he doesn't get a touchdown. I don't know if Henry's excited or sad about that based off his reaction. I would think he's excited, but Decroft doesn't get a touchdown right here. Now you're 2nd and goal. Do you run quarterback sneak? What do you do here? Kind of a tight spot. I think you ultimately just try to score a touchdown, honestly. But this is a really interesting position. What do you call on 2nd and goal from the 1? With 1:56, Decroft's going to choose to go to trips. You got to think he's just going to run the ball here. And he is, and Henry's going to shoot it. And now you're in a really interesting spot. 3rd and goal. Henry has 1 timeout. Pretty much 90% sure you're going to pass this. But if you pass it, then you give Henry an additional timeout. Like, these are very, very interesting. And these are game-deciding clock management scenarios. And you see it play out here. Now he's a 3rd and goal from the 2. And he's going to run quarterback zone again. And he's not going to get it. And now you're 4th and goal. Now, to me right here, because you've gone through all this trouble and you've taken his timeouts, I think you go for this. Because if you don't get it, he's backed up to his 1-yard line with no timeouts. And the worst thing that can happen to me is he goes for it, right? He goes for it, but he runs the ball for his life. I feel like you pass here. Decroft ran the ball 4 times. He didn't pass a single time there. hindsight being 2020, I think you pass on fourth down. I think you have to, but but again, I don't know. Right? Could the problem is the field goal? Like field goal is good because it forces him to get 7, but it doesn't really help you. But if he scores a touchdown right there, the game is effectively over. Like that's just a really interesting position. What would you do? Let me know in the comments in that scenario. If you're D Crop, what would you do in that? Obviously, the clear cut answer is you would, and he almost throws a pick on his first play. The clear cut answer is you would have scored on first down, and I think he was trying to. He just wasn't able to break the tackle. Is what it is. Wasn't able to get all the way in the end zone, and now Henry, the door is left open for him to go down and get a touchdown. Now, he doesn't have any timeouts, so it's still an unlikely scenario, but we are in a more offensive Madden, which I do think plays a role in that. And Henry's also on he's on the bad passing settings with the bug that was going on during this game. As you saw right there, he's overthrown 2 pretty badly passes. He had one time where Small actually probably helped him be able to beat a cover 0 blitz. But in general, this is a 3rd down and 10, backed up on your 2-yard line. And the pressure that Decroft was getting in the first half, he has not gotten that, honestly, in this fourth quarter. Some people have said, maybe that's a deal with maybe you need to move the defensive lineman around. I don't know. But in general, Henry able to make a big down conversion. And now it's really just basic offense. It's go down and win the game. Now, the one thing I think going for Decroft, though, is because he took all his timeouts, Henry's also in a situation where he might just settle for 3 and go to overtime. So if you're Decroft, if you hold the 3, you don't lose the game, is all I'm trying to say. So that could be another little factor in deciding, do you go for that down there? Do you pass the ball on 4th down? Do you pass the ball on 3rd down? Those are just interesting situations in competitive Madden. They honestly really do decide games. If you really looked at this game in its entirety, obviously, could easily sit back and say, well, if Decroft doesn't throw the interception, or if Henry doesn't throw the interception, or, if Henry doesn't get that stop, right? You can say it that way, but you can also see it as, the end of game scenarios make such a massive difference there. Henry gets a nice dot, and minute and 4 seconds, and he is in a position now. I mean, this is scoring range. We'll see here what he's able to do. Clock not as big of a factor, still a factor, but Henry can use the majority of the field, especially with the way no huddle works in this game. If you guys don't know, if you know huddle, there's really not a runoff that's going to occur. Obviously, it's going to take you time to get back to the line, but in previous years, there was a massive runoff, would really mess things up. Now they just run back to the line of scrimmage. They get back pretty quickly, and you're able to save a lot of time going no huddle. And there is that small placement yet again. Henry has put in the work to be able to throw this. It's a cover 0. As you see, he's manned up. But with small placement, you can steer this ball kind of over this way, and he's able to steer it away from the defender, and he's able to catch it. So the bad passing settings that everybody has complained about at this point of the year, Henry able to make it work for him in this tournament game and potentially put himself in a good position to win this one. 42-38. Now, Decroft does have plenty of time. He's got 54 seconds. He's got 2 timeouts. He's got one of the best offenses in the game. He's using the Chargers playbook. As I said, I think that the Chargers playbook is going to be a top 5 playbook all year. I think Jags playbook, Chargers playbook, both of those are top level offenses that will win tournaments in this year's game. And we will see what ends up happening here. But Decroft going to go to Y off trips close. Henry back in double mug. He got out of that 1-4-6. And he is going to go back to that double mug here. Going to be sending a little bit more pressure, trying to pressure, maybe trying to just force a turnover. Not let Decroft have all day to just kind of like pepper his way up and down the field. See if he stays with that strategy. I would think he is. He's going to send, no, just sending 4 this time. And again, just that basic cover 2 rotation to the right side. And he's going to switch stick on, ends up hit sticking the ground. And Decroft with a big dot right there. I mean, it's a big dot. And essentially you just get a basic corner route. Corner route, streak, post, drag on the backside of this. Henry switches here, but watch what he does. Porter just falls down at the ground. And yeah, not able to get it done. All right, 1st and 10 from the 30. Now, Decroft does need 7 here. So this is, it's basically like, you're going to get a winner decided here on this one. All right, so Decroft had to burn his timeout. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 6. And again, this is going to be decided on this drive here. I mean, it's either he's going to win or he's going to lose right here in the hands of his offense. And oh my goodness. So just like Decroft, right? He lurked Henry on one, but Henry, this is a little bit more clear. What's funny is it's the same exact pretty much route. It's the stinking post route that everybody wants to put the stinking post route on the field. And this post route is just not like, it's too deep of a route. It doesn't have the best spacing. Henry able to switch stick right here. Touchdowns here, but what does Decroft do? He comebacks this guy. This is a pick, 100% a pick. But what we see and what we've seen is sometimes they just break up the ball. And you see right here, he's right there. Almost a completion. Receiver ends up dropping the ball. Decroft made a decision to throw it into triple coverage. And that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 6. Let's see. Bunch strong offset. Let's see what he calls here. Really, he's not called corner. There's that flat over there on the left side. There's that in route. This time Henry able to cover it. And now we're 4th and 1. Now here's the big deal, though, is that Decroft had to throw that ball to the receiver in bounds. Now that really changes the routes that he can call. It changes how he can play this scenario. 4th and 1, 26 seconds left. He can throw this ball in bounds, but it's definitely not ideal for him to do that, and it really limits. So these are just really situational. And notice what Henry does. He comes out with cloud flats that are zone dropped, as you see, to the end zone. Curl flats that are going to be playing a little lower. And now Henry is saying, I'm just playing, basically Mabel coverage, trying to force you to throw the ball in the middle of the field where you will get a catch tackle. It's again, just game management. He's going to probably stay on his user throughout this play, I would think. And he is going to kind of stay in the middle of the field. There's that catch tackle. Now, Decroft takes that route. Notice, again, the bottom, no runoff, but Decroft going to come up. He's going to spike it, get about 10 seconds. Going to leave him really 2-ish plays if the first play is not thrown in bounce. If he throws it in bounce, he's only got 1 shot. So really, you've got about 2 shots at the end zone, 1 shot if you throw the ball in the middle of the field. So we'll see what Decroft does. Henry, pretty much that same defense, pretty much exactly the same defense. And then to throw an extra yellow zone here on the left side. You got to watch this running back streak out of the backfield or the tight end kind of wheel post. And there's that curl. He's going to throw right at Henry's user, and he gets he gets a pass interference. Oh my goodness, he got a pass interference. That's terrible. And Decroft with the ball on the 1-yard line. Oh, Henry got a pass interference. Decroft now coming back out of that trips tight end. Now here's the problem. Do you leave this up to the run, or do you pass this ball? Yeah, it's a tough decision. Henry kind of in an interesting defense. There's that motion. We've seen that before. He is going to pass, and he's going to throw right at him, and he's going to ag him for the game, and Henry is beside himself. Oh, my gosh. I did not know that's how this game ended. 42-44, 1 second left. Decroft coming out in a kneel. Doesn't want any funny business happening. This was the game. Oh my goodness, look at this catch. This is shout out to the big boys. He's in double coverage. The running back saying, please throw me the ball. He's a double covered. He throws a high ball off a PI. He catches that. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. What's crazy is I actually thought Henry won this game. And he's gonna return it out of there, and Decroft's gonna wrap him up and tackle him, and Henry's gonna go crazy. You can see Henry's full reaction at his stream at the link in the description. I thought this game was just a really cool back and forth game. I'm super surprised that's how Decroft won. I did not realize that he actually won that game. But anyways, wanted to break this one down for you. I thought this was one of the best games of the weekend. Kind of crazy how it ended, but a lot of back and forth, a lot of situational game management things went on, and this is how it played out. Thanks for watching, and if you guys want to check out any of my stuff, that is all linked in the description.